Hello and welcome back to From the Pitch to Perfect, a place where me, your host, Sammy B on social media, Samantha Brand if you Google me, and we talk about life transitions here. We talk about transitions in friendship, in love, in death. We talk about all types of transitions. And today I really want to talk about the transition of genuinely losing who you think you were supposed to be. And I think that's a really, really, really tough transition for, I hear moms say it all the time, but I think it's a transition for a lot of people, for adults, for that person who dreamt of being an astronaut and had to work as a clerk. And the biggest one for me that I've been dealing with in recent times is going from someone's entire wife to the dating scene. And this can happen for people who are in a relationship for 10 years and they break up. This could happen for people who are nesting partners, meaning that you guys live together and you break up. This can be for a divorcee. And in my case, it's because I became a widow. And I want to tell you first off, it took me a long time to take off my wedding ring for a lot of reasons. I did not want there to be any symbol that I was not married because my marriage felt like a protection from a lot of things. And that could be, I felt like I wasn't alone in the world. I felt like I was someone's someone. I was someone's person. And so taking off my ring just felt so, I think that I felt like I failed. And I don't know if that's how other people feel when they take off their wedding ring. I'm sure that there's people who genuinely they take off their wedding ring and feel so free, or they move out of the home in which they were with their partner forever and feel so free. But for me, it took me a really long time. And something really weird actually happened still. And I've had my wedding ring off now for, I believe, 4 years. I had it on for about a year. After maybe 3 years, I've had it off. And every once in a while, I go and I'll touch my ring finger with my thumb and I'll be like, oh, where's my ring? I still have a phantom ring sometimes. And so I think what that in my brain represents is that I still sometimes feel married. I still sometimes feel like there's something very missing from my life. And also in a sense that I feel less safe. And that's really weird. And I think a part of that is just the social construct that being married, especially to a man, gives you some sort of social status. It doesn't. I actually lived in Sweden for a long time, and there it is not, there's so much less pressure on having a ring on your finger or being married. My favorite people that were my surrogate mom and dad in Sweden, they're not married. And I talked to them about it and they're like, well, why do we need to? We committed, we're living together, whatever. What's the point? And I think that that's something about America it's so necessary. Iceland is the same. Iceland, when I played there, I had friends whose parents actually had a blowout wedding 40 years in. And it was just because they wanted to celebrate in that moment, in that season, but they didn't need to do that prior to that. They raised kids together. They lived together. They were, each other's everything. And they weren't married. And so I think that it's very much a social construct that I felt safer married. I felt, more protected in some way. And the same thing when I lost my father, I just felt less safe in the world. And so I think that there's something to be uprooted for me that makes me feel that way. But that is probably just America. You know what I'm saying? That's just us feeling like we need a man or a partner to feel complete. And I've been on such a journey to figure out why I felt less than when I had to take that ring off. And so it's also led me to a lot of self-discovery about who I am as an individual and also the standards that it takes for people to be in my life, which leads me to dating after a long-term relationship, or dating after marriage, or dating after nesting with someone, because it feels very patronizing to go from being someone's actual whole wife to, hey, what's your favorite color? What is your favorite music? Who's your favorite artist? It is wild because I know how to be a wife. I did all the steps and got to wife. I did all the steps, and to go backwards is just a feeling. And it's also, it also uproots a lot of anxiety. It's oh God, they text me back or they didn't text me back or blah, blah, blah. And you just have to start over. And then there's a possibility of breakups. Now I know that in marriage, there's always a possibility of breakup within a marriage. I know that, but it's not as easy, or maybe it is. I don't know. If you need to break up with someone that you're married to right now, just walk out the door. It might be that easy, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about how when you're dating, literally you could be 2 months in and that person can ghost you and be done and never talk to you again. No way to contact them, whatever. And that's just not the way it is in my world, in my brain with marriage. And so that transition from going from someone's everything, I was my man's person. I was his go-to. He wanted to tell me about everything. He wanted to tell me about a work spat. He wanted to tell me about a big poop that he had. You know what I mean? We talked about everything. He's my best friend. And so going from that, where you're completely bare and open with someone, to going backwards and being oh, what kind of flowers do I like? What? And also, I'm dating with a lot more inside of me than I was married with. So I have the trauma of losing my husband. I have the trauma of watching my daughter be raised without him. I have the trauma of losing my dad. All these things, also I have a completely different body post motherhood. And I'm man, my husband got me at mint condition. You could wash your clothes on my abs when I met my husband. I was good. You know what I'm saying? And now I feel as I'm dating, it's post-momming, it's, post-trauma, and whoever gets to date me now gets to date me, be in my orbit, anything like that. It's almost they get, I'm going to say this and you might relate, but the damaged version. They don't get the mint condition version when I was 20 something with no responsibilities. And, you've got to fit in now. If it's a decision between hanging with you or having to pay for a babysitter, sometimes I will just stay home with my kid. There's a lot of things that I'm not willing to sacrifice now that I didn't even have when I was dating my husband, or that I didn't even have when I was dating at all prior to even being married. I have an entire human being that thinks I am their entire world now. If it's 9 p.m. and I'm in bed with her, I'm not answering your call. And when and as I've been dating and when I was in a serious relationship as well, you do have to sacrifice moments with your child for a new relationship. And I just it's hard. It's hard. And also there's fears. So I bring in I remember once I was talking to a former partner and I was I got scared. I was oh, there's a possibility that you might pass away. And I didn't ever have that fear prior to losing my late husband. I never had that fear. That's not something that was on the forefront of my freaking mind as I'm going on a date. If we start in this, they might die. Come on, bruh. That's not how I used to think. And so I'm trying to be in a space right now where I'm really delicate with those feelings and understanding hey, I am literally deprogramming the wife program into talking stages, into texting again, into all this stuff. It's a deprogramming process, and I have to be very, very patient with myself because I do not and will not jump into another relationship where it's from 0 to 100. I won't. I refuse, because I have so much more at stake. My daughter's finally at an age where if I introduce someone to her, they're sticking, whether that's a memory, an energy, people are imprinting on her at this point, and also imprinting on me. Former relationships they're imprinting on me, and I'm more delicate than I ever was before. And I heard this woman on social media talking about this, and it really struck me and kind of made me emotional. She was saying, I want someone to treat me like a cup of tea. She was you grab a cup of tea, you're not wilding around. If you grab a water bottle, then you're just, you could shake that water bottle, you could set it down, you could throw it up in the air, you can play, you could toss it, you can flip it, all those things. But you can't do that with a cup of tea. You grab that cup of tea and you can't just chug it down either because you'll burn yourself. You have to sip it. You have to take care, you have to take care of the glass that it's in, everything, the contents inside of it. You have to be mindful of the heat that comes with it, the passion that comes with that, all those things. And I'm not fragile like a cup of tea. I am a queen like a cup of tea. I am a privilege to be around, to hold. I am someone you should sit down with and get to know and take care of. And that is so different than how I went into any dating prior. And maybe that got me hurt in other ways, but like, that's where I am now. And so dating from after being married and after being highly committed to someone and feeling like that was my end game, going backwards, it's not even backwards. It's dating now in this state in my life. Like I'm different, and I am a really, really amazingly delicious cup of tea. And so are you. And I want so badly to be present in my relationships, to be present in my friendships. And I'm not talking about just sexual relationships, like, romantic relationships. Like, I want my friends to treat me like a cup of tea too. I don't want them, obviously don't tiptoe around me. Like, I'm not fragile in that way. But still, I want friends who, are mindful of the things they say around me. Like, let's not talk about this or that. Like, let's be deeper than a puddle with me. I want that. I truly, truly want that. And I'm way more selective about my friendships, way more, especially in this political climate. I'm way more selective about my friendships. And thank Beyonce or Oprah or, Spirit, God, whoever runs this thing. Like, thank them, because like I am at a place where I understand that to be around me is not just a privilege, but it's a gift that I give. I have control over who gets to be around me. And this took a lot. And when I tell you, this is not like I'm healed, I'm still in the process of healing. I don't have it all figured out. I still don't know how to date as a mom. There's not much that I'm like, but what I do know for a fact is I see myself as, first off, a complete person. I'm not trying to find my other half. You're not a fraction. We're not a fraction, right? I'm not trying to find someone who completes me. Bitch, I'm complete. I am potentied. I'm not looking for potential. I am fully potentied. Will I grow? Of course. Have you met me? Of course I'm going to grow. I'm going to be better tomorrow than I am today. That's not the point. I'm saying like, there's no one out there that will make me feel more complete than I already am. That's the work I've done. That's the work that's there to be done if you're feeling like less than just because you don't have a partner, And this is me today. In my luteal phase, you might catch a different version of Sammy. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm feeling right now. And I love all of these transitions that I've been going through and sharing with you guys. And I also know that there's people out there who are going through similar types of transitions, dating after marriage, dating after divorce, dating after a long-term relationship, But you are so freaking amazing. You don't need anyone. You get to have someone. They get to have you. Right? And so I don't know. That's all I hope for you after listening to this, is that you understand you're a freaking beast. That's it. That's all. So, that's all I got for you today. Short and sweet. Go tell someone that they're awesome. I love you. And if you need someone to be in your corner, I'm here. I'm so here. DM me, PM me, send a carrier pigeon. I'm here for you. Go tell someone they're awesome. Bye.